This week's episode of The Bachelorette is shaping up to be one of the most revealing of the entire season. We have all the details on the drama and which frontrunners may be in trouble. Hey guys, welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We have some exciting new details on this week's Bachelorette. But before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Gabby Gonta.
Hi, Fiona. Let's get into it.
Hello. Yes, I'm so excited because these new details are kind of making it look like this week is going to be pretty intense. First of all, we've already talked about this, but we left off with that Noah and Bennett cliffhanger. And we will, of course, be seeing the results of their 2-on-1 date this week. The episode synopsis says there is no love lost between bitter rivals Bennett and Noah, but Tayshia is playing her cards close to the vest when it comes to which man will stay and which man will go home. So I know we've sort of talked about the Noah, the Bennett, who's in the right, who's in the wrong. But I feel like we haven't really dove into what we think Tayshia's going to say, how we think she's going to react. I think it's interesting, this phrase of playing the cards close to the vest, because from what we saw, she seemed pretty over it. She was not having it when she sat down with them. So I'm curious, what's your take on this? How do you think she's going to react?
I think Tayshia is such a transparent and straight to the point person. She's sitting down with them and she says straight to their face, is this just teenage boy drama? And then she's like, what's in the box? So I think she's going to put on no happy face or fake emotions or anything. I think she's going to get right to it and she's going to speak her mind when it comes to what she wants to say to these guys after she finds out everything that's going on between them.
I totally agree. I think that at the end of the day, we've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't even really know why they're fighting, where this beef started that made it lifelong enemies. It feels like it's all escalated so quickly. But this is one of those scenarios where I really don't think either of them is going to be able to promote a successful case for themselves. So it will definitely be unique to see how Tayshia handles this. Another interesting thing that we sort of saw teased in that promo clip, and now we're getting a little more information on, is a pretty dramatic moment with Riley. We saw a lot more of Riley than we usually do in the promo, and he actually seemed very upset, which I think we talked about was a little jarring, just because we haven't seen enough of him to even really know what the heck that could be. But we have some more insight now based on that synopsis. If Riley does end up being our one-on-one this week, the clips and the promo, I think, are going to totally make some more sense. Because it says, quote, one man's one-on-one date starts as a fun scavenger hunt, but evolves into a more serious discussion when he shares a deeply emotional secret with the Bachelorette that he hasn't revealed to anyone else. So very, very interesting. I mean, we know that Riley isn't an attorney. And we know from that art date that they went on where they sort of did the self-portraits, he opened up about his relationship with his mother, his relationship with his family. And we've seen a decent amount of him, but I feel like I don't know him closely enough at all to have any sort of guesses into what he could be revealing. So I feel like this is kind of a shocking twist for The Bachelor. Usually someone like this, they've been giving us a little more of. I feel like this really feels like it's coming out of left field.
It does. I think Riley definitely has layers. He was certainly quieter in the beginning, and then we started learning a little bit more about him here and there. But I think it really is always those one-on-one dates where you just get to know somebody so much more. So in Riley's case, if you're on a group date every single week, we might get a little bit from you here and there, but it's really on the one-on-one where, they get more time with Tayshia, but then as viewers also get to learn more about them. So, I mean, anything he would say would be a secret, that he's revealing at this point, since we know nothing about him. But if he hasn't shared it with anyone else, like the description says, that's pretty huge. So I think Tayshia is going to take that and feel a lot of pressure to do with it whatever she needs to do. But it's just going to be really telling for their relationship going forward.
I totally agree. When you're on group dates or just stealing quick moments at a cocktail party, if you have something That's going to require you taking it to like a very vulnerable place. I mean, they showed some quick shots, but we definitely saw him like actively crying, a little bit in that teaser promo. Like, you're not going to go there unless you really have the space and the ability to say your piece the way you want to. So I feel like there's like a 99.9% chance that he's going to be our one-on-one this week. And like you said, Gabby, I think it'll be really, really fascinating if she truly is the first person he shared the secret with, because these guys all know, I mean, there are cameramen, 30 feet away? Like, he's sharing the secret with her and all of America. So that's a pretty big weight on your shoulders. Oh, I mean, this is so fascinating to me. We can keep talking about it, but we are just going to have to wait and see. I'm like so antsy for this week's episode already. Aside from the one-on-one, they gave us a little bit more tease about this lie detector test group date, which I feel like is totally fun. It looks like JoJo will be the one asking the tough questions. And it's actually this photo here that they released. It looks like Tayshia. I mean, she's clearly hooked up to the machine. It looks like she's not just putting the guys through it. She is willing to answer anyone's burning questions as well, which will be pretty cool. We saw in that promo that Zach reveals during this date that he cheated in the past.
Truth and honesty in a relationship is everything. Have you ever cheated on someone?
Yeah.
Which Tayshia, obviously doesn't love. And it sounds like from what they wrote in the episode description that Zach might not be the only guy who shares something during this that Tayshia, is not super thrilled about. They wrote, quote, she learned some surprising things about her suitors, which means they have some serious explaining to do. So that'll be interesting because this is a good batch of guys that she has with her on this date. And, it's always better to tell the truth than be caught in a lie. But once it's out there, it's out there. So we'll see how this one works out. And then, interestingly enough, aside from the lie detector, they also wrote in that synopsis, quote, after all the confessions, there is one more shocking surprise at the end of the night that may turn her journey upside down. So I'm almost even more interested in that because it didn't come out during the lie detector, and whatever it is has the potential to turn the journey upside down, which is classic Bachelor lingo. I love it. Overall, Gabby, an interesting date. I think it's great to get the truth out, but it could mess it up for some of our front runners. What are your thoughts on this date?
I think these guys are being put through so much. At this point in the season, some of them have been here since Claire's season. Now we're like on another day where they just have to spill their guts and just like bare their entire soul to this girl they just met a few weeks ago. So I think this is just another example of how fast the show moves and how fast you have to peel back your layers for this person that you're trying to date. But I mean, the guys have been so good this far. So I think they're really going to be nervous, but hopefully, a lot of guys don't have much to hide, and Tayshia's going to find out that these are really good guys. Or for the guys who do have some lies up their sleeve, like it said, they're going to have some explaining to do, but hopefully that just opens up more doors for more conversations. And like you said, that whatever this like end of the episode twist is, I think it's the one where she's like wearing the white dress and like walks out of this like fence door or something. They've given us so little, but it's definitely going to be a crazy moment. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, totally. I feel like we said it when we were breaking down the promo as well. Like, it feels like this week is like one of those episodes. Like, a lot's going to go down. We're going to get a lot of drama, a lot of emotions, a lot of romance, like all really, really starting to hit that point where they've turned the corner and like connections are real. Things are serious, going to truly be heating up. Speaking of things getting serious, this week's rose ceremony, they have revealed, is actually higher stakes than usual. In the synopsis they wrote, JoJo ups the ante by explaining to the men that a rose this week will be their ticket to a hometown date and an opportunity to introduce Tayshia to their families. So a rose doesn't just mean you're safe, it means you're going to hometowns. And I'm actually so curious to just see what that even means, what hometowns means. Are they going to be, Zooming? Did they do some sort of crazy like sub bubbles within Palm Springs and like fly people in? It'll be definitely crazy to see that play out. Now, before we even go on, I do want to just put a little disclaimer. This week's rose ceremony was a little bit spoiled. somebody running the Bachelor Nation Instagram account released a photo that clearly looks like it is post-rose ceremony. That kind of gives us a good idea of not only how the Bennett and Noah drama shakes out, but who might be going to hometown. So if you do not want to know this information, time to press the mute button. We don't want to make anybody upset. But Gabby, based on what we know, it looks like there's going to be 7 hometowns, or there could be. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a real possibility. I think that this photo that we're seeing is maybe also from the rose ceremony that we'll get at the beginning of the episode. That was technically supposed to be last week's rose ceremony. And then I feel like the one they're talking about, which regards hometowns, might be one that we get at the end of the episode. I don't know. Like we've talked about on here before.
That's a good point.
The layout of the shows is like totally backwards. We're going to start with the rose ceremony and then like maybe we'll get one at the end, or maybe they'll leave us on a cliffhanger again. So like who really knows? But I think overall, the fact that hometowns is even on the table right now is going to be so shocking to these guys. And it's just all going to get so real. And like you said, like who knows how they're going to even pull this off. They've had so many members of Bachelor Nation on the show. So clearly they've got like the testing or the scheduling planning ready for bringing new people onto the set and things like that. But I was shocked to hear that hometowns are coming soon, but it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I totally agree with you. I love the point you made, because they've been doing rose ceremonies in such like a wonky timing. It's not the typical format. It could end up, this number, this 7 we're seeing, could end up smaller, which I feel like if they are leaving the bubble or if they are bringing people into the bubble, it would be the smaller number, right? Like 7 feels a little large. But if it is the 7, maybe we are looking at more of like a Zoom situation. They'll be in their little suites. It'll be easier to fit in more families and do more conversations that way. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how it plays out either way. I kind of like the idea of a larger hometown. I love hometowns, so I'm like kind of into it. But I feel like at the end of the day, this episode is just going to be a huge turning point, because everyone is going to be revealing like the most serious, deep down version of themselves, especially if they know that this is a girl that's about to like meet their family. She's got to be fully prepped. She's got to know everything. What are your just like general predictions for this week? I feel like we're going to just learn. It's going to be like a crash course. We're going to learn so much about everyone all at once.
Yeah, I think bombshells are going to be dropped every few minutes, before every commercial break or something like that. So it's going to be a jam-packed episode, definitely.
Well, we are so excited, to say the least. This has been such an amazing season, and it just keeps getting better. You guys, we want to know all of your thoughts and predictions for this week, and honestly, the season in general. So let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell, because we will, of course, be covering The Bachelorette all season long. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the incredible Gabby Ganta. And if you want to come say hi on our socials, you can check out our handles. They're on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.